Now there's something that makes you extremely different from anybody I've ever spoken to. And when you came and originally spoke to our group, this really stood out because you could make a mobile, but a lot of the Web3 gaming efforts are going after that high value customer, that high income customer that lives in the G7 or the G20 nations. But you from the get-go said, I want this to run on the cheapest Android phone with the smallest processor. I want to go after the people in Africa. I want to go after the people in India. I want to go after the people in the smaller Asian nations. And I want to bring this to the masses. Why make that choice?
Very good question. First of all, I decided to make a mobile MOBA, and that was the origin of it. And then if you look at the competitive landscape of the mobile MOBA genre, there's 4 big titles. They're huge in China, CIS regions a little bit, Southeast Asia, some in Latin America. But actually, mobile MOBAs has not been successful in US, Europe, Japan, Korea, or all the nascent emerging market. So I have 2 choices. I can fight with the Goliaths in these very, very top value markets, which is very difficult. And then I'll need to really use Web3 to earn as our main driver for us to succeed there. But I personally just don't really believe in play to earn. I believe that play to earn will, no matter how you play it, unless you can make this flying wheel effect go so fast, you'll eventually go into a death spiral. And I think what fits me better is to tackle the other side of the spectrum, which is all the nascent emerging market. I realized that no one goes to these markets because they're not profitable. But they're not profitable for a reason, right? And I realized that Web3 is the perfect solution for that profitability problem. Higher ARPU, lower customer acquisition costs, and we get layer 1 support for us to acquire users there. That means that it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for us to tap into those markets. India, South Asia, Middle East, Africa, 3.5 billion population there, 2.5 billion phones, and no one, very, very few people design games for these guys. And I realized that I can be that game changer. And if there's no Web3, I don't think anyone can be profitable there for the next 5 years. But with Web3, I realized that it gives me a once in a lifetime opportunity to be there and be profitable. And that's why I decided to be that game changer. I want to be the first mover that can really change people's lives. That can, and I don't need to fight with competitors right now because there's no competition. And I realized that that's the golden formula that I really think I found. Even now, I've preached this for 3 years. I've not seen many other studios do the same thing. I'm like, the lone believer, or not completely, but I'm one of the few believers in this thesis. But there's so many people that I've talked to, including you, that believe in this thesis, that believes in me. And I'm sure there's going to be more people in the community that believes the same thing. So let's try to make it happen together. Let's try to leverage Web3 to make these nascent emerging markets, give them a great game to play. Let them have fun and bring Web2 gaming and Web3 gaming together and make Web3 gaming mainstream.
Can you talk about the regions you're going after and what that rough roadmap looks like?
Yes, we actually literally just launched in our first region, India. We plan to be in India, cultivate, make sure that we can operate at scale for the next 6 months or so. Then second half of this year, we're going to go into our second wave markets. The rest of South Asia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Middle East, Africa. So by end of this year, hopefully we'll be able to cover this entire region. There will also be opportunistic market that we want to capture. For example, where I'm originally from, Taiwan, that I think there's huge potential. So we'll be covering that within this year. 2026 is the year where final salvation can go to US, Europe, Japan, Korea, the rest of the uncompeted markets. Hopefully we'll have such big scale and commercial success by that time. We can fight with the big boys. But for this year, it's about India first, then the rest of my target regions.
And what about Southeast Asia, the Indonesias and the Philippines and those type of countries? Where are they in the roadmap?
They're further away because I have a very, very strong competitor incumbent called Mobile Legend Bang Bang, MLBB, in those markets. Mobile MOBA and all MOBAs are similar. Free-to-play genres tend to have the effect where the stronger remain strong. So for us to beat an incumbent is extremely hard. That's why we deprioritize those markets with very strong incumbents, because we think that fighting against them is too costly. We want to go to markets that they haven't been to first.
Smart. I think it was Dirty Harry that once said, a man has to know his limitations.
Exactly.
Right? So you want to...
Startup owners know that best.
Right. Go somewhere where there isn't a market, and then you can own that market first.
Exactly.
And then but you are planning on going to these G7 and G20 countries.
Yes.
So you do plan to go to the US and Europe. You first want to get market share, get the users, proof of concept, et cetera, but then you will go there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, to play devil's advocate, people say, Johnson, there's no money in these things. These people don't have large incomes. So how can you build a profitable ecosystem in Africa, in India? How do you reply?
From a few angles. First, this is a very special genre where it actually doesn't rely heavily on paid user acquisition. For most of the gaming genres, go to Google, go to iOS, spend your money to buy the users is by far the most common way to acquire users. Free-to-play genres, that's competitive, that's more fun for friends to play together. So for example, FPS, for example, MOBA, is one of the lone exceptions for that. It can go viral. So if you have a very fun game that's free to play and your friends are playing it, you're going to play it too. So that's the power that we're counting on. That once we get to critical mass and we have core group of players that's playing it, they're going to tell their friends to all play together. And my customer acquisition cost can go very, very low. That's the first part of the formula. The second part of the formula is also how to make my ARPU higher. And it's by selling emotional attachment. For these games, for games like League of Legends or Final Salvation, we are not selling power. Most games earn money by selling power. You pay more, you do better in the game, you're stronger. But that formula will then eventually kick out all the non-paying users because they don't think it's fair. So we don't do that. We sell aesthetics, we sell skins. It's like selling clothing. But why do you want to buy clothing for money? If you're playing the game by yourself, you don't care. But now you have friends who play together. They're looking at you in the game. It's like I'm walking on the street. I want to look nice. I'm talking to Brian Rose today and I put on my suit. You want to look good in front of people you care about. And that's the magic of mobile games. A lot of people play it. Your friends are playing it. Your girlfriend may be playing it. And then you want to look good in front of them. Now, using clothing as example, what Web3 does to it is enables for infinite personalization of skins, as well as verifiably unique and rare skins. So now, the clothing that I'm wearing, it goes from traditional studio-made clothing that is factory-made to now that it can be made by anyone with fandom. It can be made by any tailor-made for you. And it's verifiably that there's only one cloth like that in the world. You can sell for a lot more because of that. Now we're not just selling clothing. Clothing is cotton, priced with labor, then charge a premium. What we're selling is emotional attachment. What we're selling now is people's emotional attachment to how unique this can be, to the whoever created the skin. Infinite personalization is only possible with Web3. And that's why we think that this is such a powerful formula to allow for creators to create their own skin, their own unique assets, and use it as a way to really improve the ARPU for the game developers. So with increased ARPU, lower customer acquisition costs, plus a lot of support from our layer one partner, Sui, we realized that this really will become the game changer.
How do you get out of a rat race? How do you create wealth not only for yourself, but also for the generations to come after?
I am absolutely amazed with the quality of companies that we're getting exposure to.
We go on to Zoom calls with the innovators and the folks who are building new applications in metaverse, blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance.
What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me.
We are focusing on early stage investment.
And the quality of people that we're getting exposure to, whether it be Dan Tapiero with 1RT, Jason Ma from Open, Yatsu from Animoca.
It's been a phenomenal experience thus far. It has far exceeded my expectations.
We are focusing on cutting edge technologies.
I view it now as the best investment I've ever made. The upside I view is unlimited.
And as a retail investor, I would never get this exposure anywhere else outside of Investment Club.
See you in the Investment Club.